When it comes to money, one question comes up again and again. When should I reach my first $100,000? Am I behind if I don't have $500,000 yet? How long does it actually take to reach $1 million? These numbers are often treated like milestones, benchmarks of success, signals that you are on the right path. But the reality is more complex. Because wealth does not grow in a straight line. It grows in phases, slow at first, then faster over time, and for most people. The timing of these milestones depends on more than just age. It depends on income, saving habits, investment returns, life events, and economic conditions. In this video, we're going to break down the typical timeline for reaching $100,000, $500,000, and $1 million, why the first $100,000 is often the hardest. How compounding changes everything, and why comparing yourself to others can be misleading. This is not about judging where you are. It's about understanding how the process works, so you can make better financial decisions going forward. Why these milestones matter: $100,000, $500,000, $1 million. These numbers are not magical, but they are useful because they represent different stages of financial growth. The first $100,000 often represents discipline, consistent saving, controlled spending. The next $400,000 reflects momentum. Your money starts working alongside you, and $1 million represents scale. At that level, investment growth can become a significant driver of wealth. These milestones are not about status, they are about structure. They help us understand how wealth builds over time. The reality: there is no single correct age before looking at timelines. It's important to clarify something. There is no universal age at which people reach these milestones. Some reach them early, some reach them later, some never prioritize them at all. Different factors influence the timeline: career choice, income, growth, cost of living, family responsibilities, investment behavior, economic cycles. However, we can still look at general patterns observed in financial data, not to define a rule, but to understand tendencies. The first $100,000, the hardest milestone. Many financial experts have pointed out that the first $100, zero, is often the most difficult, not because of the number itself, but because of the stage of life it usually represents. Early career income is often lower. Expenses can be high: rent, education debt, living costs. At this stage, most of your progress comes from saving, not investing, because your investment base is still small. For many people, reaching $100,000 can take 5 to 10 years of consistent saving and investing, often somewhere between their mid-20s and mid-30s. But the key insight is this: the first $100,000 builds the foundation. The power of compounding begins once you reach $100,000. Something starts to change. Your investments begin to generate noticeable returns. Not just a few dollars, but thousands. This is where the principle of compound growth becomes more visible. Instead of relying only on your income, your money starts contributing to its own growth. This does not mean growth becomes automatic. but it becomes more efficient. For many people, going from $100,000 to $500,000 may take less time than going from $0 to $100,000. Reaching $500,000 momentum phase. The $500,000 milestone often reflects a transition. At this stage, investment returns play a larger role. Income is typically higher than in early career. Saving habits are more established. For many individuals, this milestone may occur in their 30s or 40s, but again, this varies widely. Some reach it earlier, others later. What matters is not the exact age, but the fact that wealth accumulation accelerates. Because now, growth comes from two sources: your contributions and your existing capital. The path to $1 million. Reaching $1 million is often seen as a major financial milestone. But the path to $1 million is not just about earning more. It is about time and consistency. At higher asset levels, compounding becomes more powerful. For example, a 7% return on $100,000 equals $7,000. A 7% return on $1 million equals $70,000. The same percentage, very different outcomes. This is why many people experience faster growth in later stages. For many individuals, reaching $1 million may happen in their 40s or 50s. But again, there is wide variation. Why people compare themselves and why it's misleading. One of the biggest sources of financial stress is comparison. Social media often highlights extreme cases. People reaching $1 million in their 20s, high-income careers, unusual investment success. But these examples are not representative of the majority. Comparing your timeline to others can create unrealistic expectations, because everyone's financial path is shaped by different variables. A more useful comparison is with your own progress over time. Key factors that influence the timeline. Several factors have a major impact on how quickly someone reaches these milestones. Income growth. Higher income can accelerate saving and investing. Savings rate. How much you keep matters as much as how much you earn. Investment behavior. Consistent investing over time is critical. Cost of living. Higher expenses can slow wealth accumulation. Time in the market. Longer investment periods increase the impact of compounding. No single factor determines the outcome. It is the combination that matters. The role of time. Time is one of the most powerful variables in wealth building. Starting earlier allows compounding to work longer. Even small contributions can grow significantly over time. Delaying investment reduces the total time available for growth. This does not mean late starters cannot succeed. It simply means the strategy may need to adjust. Financial milestones are not the final goal. It is important to remember that these milestones are tools, not final destinations. Financial well-being depends on more than net worth, stability, flexibility, freedom of choice. These are often more meaningful than a specific number. Conclusion. So, at what age do most people reach $100,000, $500,000, and $1 million? There is no single answer, but there are clear patterns. The first $100,000 is often the slowest. Growth accelerates after that. and compounding becomes increasingly powerful over time. The key takeaway is not to focus on a specific age, but to focus on the process: consistent saving, thoughtful investing, patience, and adaptability. Because wealth is not built in a moment. It is built over time, and the timeline looks different for everyone.